Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
I'm Devin.
And in studio with us we have Cole. And Cole, if somebody needed to contact us, what would they need to do?
For math homework help, call in Bakersfield 636-4357. Everywhere else, 1-866-636-6284. Email dothemath@kern.org. We're online at dothemathonline.net and on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, nicely done. So Cole, where do you go to school and what grade are you in?
I go to Stockdale Elementary School and I'm in 5th grade.
How is 5th grade?
It's fun.
What's so fun about it?
My teacher.
Oh, so you like your teacher. That's very important because you're with the same instructor all day long, correct? Mm-hmm. Is there a particular topic or subject that you like more than others?
I like math and reading.
So you like math and reading. What kinds of things do you like to read? Is there a particular type of reading you like, or?
Big books.
So you like big books, like long ones?
Yeah, like Harry Potter.
Oh, so you like that. So you're into that series, Harry
Yeah.
Potters and stuff like that?
Yeah.
How many books are there in that, do you know?
7.
7 books, because I know that
But
they're
there's 8
all...
movies.
And
There's
what?
8 movies. The last
Yeah,
one
there's
got
8
turned into
movies.
2 movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
7 books, 8 movies.
Right.
So you're really into this thing.
Yeah.
So why, do you know why they took 1 and made it 2?
Because the last book is really long.
So it's really long, so they had to split it up into 2 different parts.
Yeah.
Do you like the beginning of that Harry Potter series or the end of it?
The end
You like the end of it better?
and the middle.
All right.
In the middle.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad you like reading because that's an important skill to have. And if you enjoy reading, your vocabulary will expand also with that.
Now,
Yep.
do you have a favorite math book to read?
This one right here.
There's that
This
one.
homework book,
There's
right?
a great novel by Edwin Abbott called Flatland that I got to read in middle school. It was about a 3-dimensional shape, a sphere, who all of a sudden entered a 2-dimensional world and was trying to navigate very cautiously around things like edges and corners because the 2-dimensional figures could only see him as a 2-dimensional cross section. So it's really interesting to explore those concepts of bringing together literature and geometry.
And there are a lot of books, Circumference.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right, that's a big series also where they take different math topics and introduce them through reading also. So Cole, you ready to do a little bit of math today?
Yeah.
What kind of math are you doing in class right now?
Decimals, dividing decimals.
Decimals and dividing them. Well, you know what? We're going to get busy with that in a few minutes, okay?
Yeah.
Let's first take a look at today's Math in the News. Well, today's Math in the News, we're fortunate once again to have somebody in studio with us. So I always love when we're able to have somebody in studio with us. Megan, you are from CALM.
I am,
And
yes.
that is California Living Museum. So what is your role with CALM?
I'm the director of CALM.
So you're like the big boss
On a good day, yeah.
on a good day. Well, I'm sure they're all good days at CALM.
Absolutely, they are.
And how long have you been with the organization?
I started in May of 2020,
So you've been there,
about 2.5 years.
right, but I was thinking, like, was that before COVID or as it was going?
2
or-
months in or so?
Yeah, right at
I
the
was going to
start
say,
of
right at the
COVID.
beginning of it, basically,
Yeah.
right? Fun time to start a new job, huh?
It's fun, for sure. It's had some unique challenges, but it's been great.
So as the director, so I know kids are like, all right, you're the director, you kind of oversee everything. So what are some of the more important things or things that students would go, yeah, that makes sense what you do?
So I do a lot of things. I do our budgets and all of our departments. So we have our animal department and our guest experience department and our education department. So I work with my amazing team to help those things flow smoothly.
And I know that you have a lot of field trip opportunities for students to go out to COM also.
We do, yeah. We on average see over 20,000 students a year
Wow.
through our doors. Yeah.
So Cole, do you remember the last time you've been to COM? It was probably
Yeah, about
right
a
around when
year.
Megan got there, right?
Yeah, about a year before COVID.
And what did you like about COM? Do you remember anything in particular?
I liked looking at the animals.
Looking at the animals.
Do you have any
Absolutely.
questions for Megan while we've got her here?
Has there been any new animals?
Our latest new animal is a desert blonde tarantula
That's
named
cool.
Joni. So she just joined our reptile house, and our reptile house is almost done with renovations. So we've done some redos and updates in there, and so you can visit Joni the next time you get to come to COM.
You like spiders and tarantulas?
She's pretty
They have
cute.
other things. It's
They're
okay.
pretty
We
cute.
do have
So
other
how
things.
big would this tarantula be compared to our hand?
Solid about this
So
big.
it'd
So
fit easy in the palm
you
of your
know,
hand.
yeah.
So you can
not
just
too
carry it
bad.
around with you. Hey, look at what I've
I
got,
know.
right? Okay, so I know that COM has a lot of events during the year. And we know that Holiday Lights has been a big part of COM for many, many years. But you have a brand new event this year. So can you tell us about Autumn Nights?
Yes, so the same folks that brought us our holiday lights have brought us Autumn Nights. So Autumn Nights is a family-friendly Halloween walk through the lights event where you and your family can go through and experience a family-friendly activity with your friends and family. So it's fun and festive and took over our entire zoo with the
I was
light
going to
show.
say, we see some footage here. And this started when?
So our opening night was last Thursday, and we run until the last Sunday in October. So every Thursday through Sunday.
And that little town part, that's something new, isn't it? Because I don't remember seeing something like that out there before.
That is part of our train. So during the show, you can ride our Candy Corn Express, which is our train. You can go through our Craze Maze, as well as our pumpkin patch, enjoy food from Teen Challenge, and really just enjoy the atmosphere as a whole.
So if a family wanted to go out and they go, let's go out to COM and check out this Autumn Nights, how long would it take a family to kind of go through the grounds
Go
and
through the
enjoy
whole thing.
everything?
I would say anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. You've got a lot of things to look at, time to take some food in, as well as our shuttle. So we are partnering with Soccer Park because we are doing the drive-through holiday lights. We have the ability to park at the zoo because Holiday Lights drive-through is happening right now. So
Right, I was going to say, because a lot of people are used to going to COM and parking at COM, but since they're getting set for Holiday Lights, people have to park at the soccer complex.
yes.
And there is a lit trail that they can walk to COM, or they can take a shuttle.
Yes, there are two options. So we have a lit trail that goes to COM and then a free shuttle that you can take from Soccer Park up to COM.
Okay, and this is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights.
Yes.
6 to 9, is that what it?
6 to 9, yes.
6 to 9.
Perfect.
Okay.
You can
Oh,
buy
I was
your
looking at that
tickets
graphic correctly there.
buy your tickets at calmzoo.org.
Okay, and you don't even have to buy them at com.org if you want to. You can just simply call in to do the math. We do one of your math problems, and COM, we will send you a pass for simply doing a problem with us. So there you go, Autumn Nights, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday between 6 and 9, and this ends on what day?
Sunday, October 30th.
Okay, so the 30th is the last day, so kids won't be going to COM for trick-or-treating because that'll be Monday night. They can go out trick-or-treating someplace else, but they can go out and enjoy the animals, all of the other exhibits, all of the new lights, because these are all brand new
Yes.
because of the theme that you have going on right now.
Whole new theme, whole new show. We're excited to have everybody out.
Well, if I happen to go out there, and I'm sure I will, I want to see the Colonel on the train. You know who the Colonel is?
I know who the Colonel is, yes. Mr. Steve Sanders.
That's right. Steve was kind enough to come in a week or so ago and talk to us about Autumn Nights as well. And
Absolutely.
that was the first time. I'd been working with him for 21 years on the show. First time I knew he was the Colonel.
There you go. Yeah, he drove it last week, and he'll probably be out there again. So you
Oh.
got to give him some sass for him.
There
when
you go.
see him.
Well, you know what? Maybe you'll be out there. So if any kids or anybody goes out to COM to enjoy Autumn Nights, ask for Megan. You can talk to Megan a little bit. Ask for the Colonel. Hopefully he's on the train. Megan, thank you for coming
Thank you
in.
for
I know
having
you're
me.
very busy being the director of COM. But once again, thank you for coming in. That is today's Math in the News. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. This year, a little different. Between 3:30 and 5:30 are when we always had phone tutors, but the live programming is now 4:30 to 5:30 due to a lot of schools starting later and getting out later. In studio, we have Cole, a 5th grade student from Stockdale who enjoys math and reading the Harry Potter series. And you're working on dividing and working with decimals in class, correct?
Yes.
All right, head on over to the board. You and Devin are going to work on this problem together. So up on the board, we're not even going to mess with the decimals right now. We're just going to work on dividing. So first we have 18 divided by 1, then 18 divided by 10, 18 divided by 100, 18 divided by 1,000. So hopefully you're able to see a pattern there, and that will help you solve all of the problems. But you and Devin go to it, and you explain everything you can to Devin as much as you know.
Okay.
Sound good?
So
Take it
Cole,
away.
start me off with how you would approach that string of problems. And we'll go ahead and write them out just so we have like a sequence here. So we had 18 divided by 1. Then we had 18 divided by 10. We had 18 divided by 100. And then we had 18 divided by 1,000. So when you see these 4 in sequence, what's the thing that stands out to you? What do you start to think about? What is your strategy for starting us off?
Well, I think right here, 18 divided by 1, I know 1 times 18 is 18. So I would just go like this.
So we're using that property of division where if you divide a value by 1, it's the same thing as figuring out 1 times whatever is that whatever. So in this instance, 18 divided by 1 would be?
18.
18, right, because so we look at that part. That seems like the easiest to access, the first to get into.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a look at these others then. And I want to get your thoughts before we start approaching these. What is your thought process with these 3 at this stage?
Well, since there's an extra 0 right here, I would think that you would add an extra 0 as you go on.
So what would that look like with 18 divided by 10?
So you would go like this.
Okay, and I think if we were multiplying, that would be the case.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and take this. I'm going to put it just right down here for now. I want to come back to this in a moment, okay? Now, we mentioned that we're working with dividing by decimals, right? Or dividing with decimals. And I'm actually going to shift a little bit in our thinking. We know that we can show division, or we can represent division several different ways, right? I know that, like, we have, for example, with 18 divided by 1, we can use the division symbol. Depending on where you are with division, you might see division represented with a long division bar. You might see something like this, where 18 divided by 1. But there's another way that we can represent division. How else can we show a division problem? It's not something we always think about, but it's very helpful in making sense with dividing.
Maybe doing, like, drawing a diagram.
You could do it as a diagram. I'm thinking more symbolically. How about as a fraction? Now, the reason that working with fractions when dividing by what we call powers of 10 is very helpful is because when we say those fractions, we're actually saying the decimal versions of those. And what I mean by that is if we take 18 divided by 10, how would we represent that as a fraction?
We would go 18 tenths.
18 tenths. And I think that's really interesting how you said that. 18 tenths. Mathematically sound as a fraction. Now, is there a way, how would we write 18 tenths in decimal form?
Maybe like this.
Well, would this be 18 tenths or would this be 18 and 1/10? So here's what I'm thinking. We can rethink 18 tenths. Because one of the things we can do is we can decompose fractions, right? We can split this up because we know that we have 10 tenths here, right? And then in addition to that, we have 8 tenths, right? Now, how would I represent 8 tenths as a decimal?
You would go like this.
Well, again, that would be 8 and 1/10. Remember, when we have tenths, where the numerator is less than the denominator, that represents less than 1. So 8 tenths would be represented as a decimal, as 8/10, right? Now, how else could we represent 10/10?
Maybe like this.
Well, we don't have to overthink that. What is equivalent to 10/10?
One.
Yeah, it's just 1. You're right.
1.
So we have 1 plus 8/10. This is 1 and 8/10.
Yeah.
18/10 is 1 and 8/10. So 18 divided by 10 is 1.8. Now, at first we were thinking this would be 180. If we were multiplying, it might be further along that path over there. But I want to see if we can recognize a pattern here. So my goal for us is that we can figure out 18 divided by 1,000 without having to do any of this other stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and erase this space over here. And we'll make sure we put our answers in this row here. All right?
Okay.
So we know that 18 divided by 1 is 18. We know that 18 divided by 10 is 1 and 8/10. Let's talk a little bit about 18 divided by 100. And just off the bat, what are your thoughts on what this might look like or what this might be?
Well, taken from this over there, it would be like if we would just add a 0 at the end, right? Like it would be a 1.80 like this.
Okay, so here's the thing I would call out on this too. When you add a 0 further to the right of values that have decimal places, it still is equivalent to what it is without that 0, right?
Yeah.
So this is still equivalent to 1 and 8/10, but it's not quite there. Now, I'm also going to add a little bit of a modification here, because this is equivalent, right?
Yeah.
If we had a decimal place, this is what it would look like, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's revisit this. How can I represent 18 divided by 100?
You would go like this. So
Okay.
you would go 100th, like
Well,
this.
remember, we're divide. Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
And then we would go plus
Well,
8.
that's if we were going to break it up here. I see what you're doing here, but let's just write this part out as a fraction,
Yeah.
okay? I'm going to bring this down over here, all this down over here, all right?
Okay.
So let's write this, 18 divided by 100.
Yeah.
As a fraction, which part of this would go in the numerator?
The tenths. Or
The 18, right?
Yeah, the 18.
Okay. Now, where would the 100 go?
on the bottom.
In the denominator, correct. Now, before we do anything else, let's see if we can say this fraction.
Okay.
Go ahead.
18 hundredths.
18 hundredths. How would we write that as a decimal?
Like this.
Well, take a look at what you just wrote, right? What number is that?
18.
18. So it's not 18 hundredths, right? Remember, if we think about our decimal places, we go back, right? So we have our ones place here, we have our tenths place here, and we have our hundredths place here. So if we're going to say 18 hundredths, we would represent that as 18 hundredths.
Ah,
So do we have to do anything else with this?
no.
No. Right up there. Now, before we go any further, I want you to tell me if you notice any patterns happening as we divide by further and further patterns
Yeah.
of 10. What do you notice happening here?
The numbers are going back. Like
So, is there
Toward the
one
right
element of
more?
this that seems to be moving?
the 18.
Well, you can see the 18 is shifting, okay, where the decimal place is
Yeah.
staying steady,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or you could see this as the decimal place continuing to move forward. So we started at 18.0, all right? Then, I'm just going to use this over here. We started at 18 for 18 divided by 1. Then we got to 18 divided by 10 and got 1.8. Then we did 18 by 100 and we got to 18 hundredths. So what do you think is going to happen now if we divide by 1,000 following this pattern?
we would put a 0 in front of the 1.
There we go. So let's move that decimal first before we do so and go ahead and throw that there. So that tells us that 18 divided by 1,000 is 18 thousandths, or written out 0.018. And we can express that as a fraction too, 18 thousandths.
Yeah.
So exploring this relationship between fractions at the power of 10 denominator and the decimal form is going to help us out tremendously as we explore this concept.
So do you want to put that last answer up where you have all the other ones,
Sure.
just so you can be consistent for other students that are watching at home and want to know what that answer will be?
There you go.
So a pattern, that's the key, I think, is seeing the pattern. And if you know your place values after the decimal, where you've got tenths, hundredths, thousandths, that's going to be a key to remembering this. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, nicely done right there. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. And here is another tools of mathematics.
Hi, I'm Nancy Gordon. I'm the Director of the Health, Safety, and Wellness Department with Panama Buena Vista School District. We are going to be showing you some tools today that we use as nurses within the school district. So many of you might be very familiar with taking your blood pressure, or maybe you've seen your parents have their blood pressure taken. To take your blood pressure, we usually use what looks like this, and it's called a manometer. So this goes onto your arm, and we tighten it onto your arm, and it allows us to take a blood pressure reading. Your blood pressure is taken in millimeters per mercury. So that lets us know how your heart and your blood is flowing through your body. So again, you might see something that looks like this if your parents are having their blood pressure taken, but as you come onto a school site, it may look much more like this, which is a digital version. And this would go onto your wrist as the blood pressure is taken, as the blood is going through the artery. And when they contract, that force, that's the top number, which is referred to as the systolic blood pressure reading. That lower number, which is referred to as the diastolic, is when arteries are relaxing. So 120 over 80 is a number that you might hear. If you watch television or see any of those kind of hospital shows, you'll say, what's the BP? They're referring to the blood pressure. So again, that is the tool for today, and it speaks to how to take your blood pressure.
And once again, thanks to Nurse Nancy Gordon from Panama Buena Vista Union School District, and learning a little bit more about blood pressure, the tools you use, and how to interpret that. And those of us that are old men always need to keep an eye on that, just like everybody else does. Don't be talking about you
talking
not
about me
old.
for?
You may not be
You
as
know.
old as I am, but you're an old man right now. So.
No. We got time. We got
You're a little
time.
long in the tooth there. So
Medicine
you
is
gave you
doing
the
wonderful
buzzer, you gave
things
you the
here.
buzzer right there.
We're going to delay this. We're going to cut that.
We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon. Right now, we are lucky enough to have from the Bakersfield Museum of Art, Victor in studio with us. How are you today, Victor?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. Thank you for being back again. I know that you've been with Do the Math before.
Yes, I have.
And I know that you have a rather big event coming up with the museum. What is that event?
It's the Bakersfield Museum of Art's annual 24th annual Italian Street Painting Festival called Via Arte, and is next weekend, October 22nd and 23rd. And so it's where the marketplace's parking lot is kind of taken over by artists and professional artists, schools, children, and they turn the parking lot into a very colorful and basically an on-the-site museum with all their artwork that they create.
And we can see some people working right there and figuring out the scale and measuring everything out and then going to work.
Yeah, so the scale is a huge thing that is the most important part of it, because there are several different squares. There are 2x2 foot squares, 4x6, 7x7s, 12x12s, and the featured artists, like the one you see there, they can range from like 15 to 10 feet. They're pretty big.
And that's just amazing that that is done with chalk on the pavement.
Yeah. several different layers of chalk, blending. Your fingers will basically hurt by the end of the weekend.
Now, I know that you're with the museum and
Mm-hmm.
you guys sponsor this and put it on. Do you yourself do any of the chalk art?
So I did participate in 2020 on a 7x7 foot square myself with a friend of mine. And it was an interesting experience for the whole weekend. My back was not the same.
But you guys had fun doing it and you learned a lot and you were able to see a lot of other people doing it as well.
Exactly. It was a huge, working with your friend, creating this piece and also around all those other artists was a very inspiring
Well, I know that
weekend.
we've been out there quite a few times to enjoy it, just as a family to go out and check it out and stuff like that. And it is coming up next weekend, the 22nd and 23rd.
Yes, from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day. We also offer, this for the first time, we're offering an on-site art class with our Saturday studios. So where kids can be a part of classes in the morning and then adults and teens in the afternoon. And then they will be learning on how to use the chalks and how to create their own art pieces on the asphalt as well.
All right, well, we look forward to that, and we want to thank you for talking about Via Arte this week. Right now, you've got Cole, a 5th grade student, and what will you guys be working on today?
I will be showing Cole how an artist will work on scale for their piece when they're preparing for this very grueling weekend. Sometimes there are many different ways to prepare for this type of square. Sometimes artists will use a grid where they take an image and grid it out with several different boxes so they can then draw their proportions perfectly when it comes to the asphalt. I'm not a huge fan of the grid myself, but I like to create an entire stencil for the square. So what I have to do then is convert it from feet to inches so I can work on a piece of paper at home and then figure it out.
All right,
So
well, take it
it's
away.
Normally pretty simple.
Yeah.
Let me take one of these markers here. So now I'll start with a regular 7x7 square, which is the most common size. And that's by feet, so I want to change it into inches. So normally if you want to do it quickly, go from 7 feet to inches. Let me just get this here. I would just multiply that normally by 12. And why would I multiply that by 12? Do you know?
Because each 12 is how many inches a foot is.
There you go, yeah. So there's 12 inches in a foot. So 7 times 12, what would that be?
And if you need to, you can write it out on the board, Cole.
There's some
That
markers
makes it easier.
right here.
I know this one.
Carry the 1.
Well, I think if you reverse the two numbers, put 12 on top and 7 underneath, it might work out a little bit easier for you.
12 on top and
let's
7
go.
underneath.
So let's
One of
go
those properties of multiplication. You
12.
can swap the two numbers and still end up with the
and
same
then
product.
multiply it from there.
Okay. So 2 times 7 is 14. 1 times 7 is 7. Now this is making more sense. So 1 times 7 is 7. 2 times 0 is 4. Wait, oh,
You almost had it.
Yeah, now we want to
Right,
think
so
about
we're
that
going to work
one.
with Cole on that also.
it's an 8, right?
Well, we want
There
to
you
think
go.
about that
You're
one.
on the right track.
And then
You're
that's
close.
0,
Right, we want to think
right?
about the
I don't
1 and
get
the
it.
7
You
as
got
10
it. So
times
4,
7.
so 7 times 1 is
7,
add the 1,
8.
84.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of this right here.
Yeah.
Oh, now I get it. It's 84.
So that's normally what it would be in inches.
Okay.
That is the fast way. But normally we would have to show our work sometimes. So let's work on a 2x2 foot square. I want to change that into inches. So here we have 2 feet. I'll put that over 1. And then I'll put 1 foot over here. Why would I put the 12 inches up here and not the bottom?
Because 12 is a higher number than 1.
I mean, that's true, but I would like to also cancel out the feet because we were trying to get to inches, correct?
Yes.
So then 2 times 12, what would that be?
2 times 12, that's 24.
Mm-hmm. So when I'm working at home and I'm creating my stencil on a really large piece of paper, I will then make sure I'm working within 24 inches of a square on a piece of paper.
Okay.
Let me get rid of this here. And as you can see, I have a ruler. It's 12 inches, so that is
Yeah.
1 foot, correct?
Yeah.
So we'll go over here. You want to draw that line straight across? Here, keep going.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I do not have a long enough ruler. So 12 and 12, if you add that together is what?
24.
Yeah. Now I'll finish off this side. Now the reason why I brought up the 2x2 squares, because these are the size of the squares they're called Via Bambino, and this is what parents can buy for their kids to work on that weekend for $20. Go ahead and do that.
And Bambino, that is to mean youngster or child?
Yes, baby.
Little one.
Little
right.
one.
Okay.
Little baby. Wow.
Could be a little off when you're just using one ruler. But this is the size of the square for the Via Bambinos that you'll find at the marketplace. They can be purchased on the spot for $20. They'll receive this box of chalk here, this, and then their own square. Have you ever used this chalk before?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, how does it feel to you?
Yeah, no, I have.
Soft?
Yeah, pretty soft.
Yeah, so it's not like your regular chalk you use like on the sidewalk.
Feels
It's
like pastels.
Yeah, it's very much like that. It's much softer, so the street can grab the colors better, and it's easier to use. But also with the Saturday Studio classes, if you register, you'll get not only a square, a box of chalk, but also this T-shirt that will be on sale that weekend as well. And it is our new 2022 design. And that's pretty much it. That's how an artist will transform their feet into inches so they can practice at home for that weekend.
So once again, for $20, they can do the Bambino style Via Arte.
Mm-hmm.
They'll receive the box of chalks that they can keep
Yes.
and a T-shirt on top of it.
The T-shirt is with the Saturday Studio class, but
Okay,
then with the
Saturday
Bambino,
Studio.
they just get the square and the chalk here.
There you go. Not a bad deal. And Saturday Studio, if somebody wanted to find out more about Saturday Studio, they would go to bmoa.org, is that?
Correct. Yes, they would. And they can also register for the classes online as well.
All right. Well, Victor, thank you very much for coming in. Once again, Via Arte coming up next weekend, October 22nd and 23rd out at the marketplace. And thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. We'll be back with more right after this.
Good job.
I decided to join retail sales because I felt that this class would best give me the type of experience when it comes to getting a job, as well as building the right business type skills when it comes to marketing and communication. It has taught me ways to best build a resume, as well as cover letters, how to speak to professionals while also maintaining my own professionalism as well.
I have learned a lot of skills actually. I've learned how to stock things from my job site. I just came back from it this week. I've been learning to stock, clean, move stuff. I've switched tags on some products. I've changed aisles and stuff like that. I've learned a lot from my job site. I actually never knew how to do like resumes, cover drafts, and all of that. So the first time I came into class, they were teaching it, and I was kind of amused on how much you had to do just to actually get all the papers and everything ready. That would help me get to a better job because I'd have all of the experience and everything for writing resumes and cover drafts and everything.
I joined this class just to get experience in the job force and probably just get some skills in the later future if I'm looking for a job. The skills that I've learned so far are money handling and sales experience, so like counting to the lowest to the highest and talking to people, how to start a conversation and how to end it. I recommend this class to future students. If you're trying to get some experience for a job, or if you're already in the job, you can learn a thing or two in this class. Students should get a job for the internship because once you go in the internship, if your boss hires you or recommends you to join, then you get to get the job and get paid afterwards. Examples of students' internship are basically at the mall and supermarkets.
I think other people should join the class just to get the experience. I've had a great experience. The teacher's really nice. She's hard on you sometimes if you don't get all of your work in. I've had that because I'm kind of a procrastinator myself. I let things go to the last minute, but I'd say all around it's a great class. It gives you great experience for work, and the jobs are really easy, and I think it's pretty fun.
You got the job. Give him a round of applause.
I'm glad the young lady just admitted that the instructor got on her a little bit because she was kind of a procrastinator, but that's one of those life lessons that she needs to learn now while she's in high school, going through that program, especially if she wants to get into retail sales. Thanks once again to the ROC and CTEC. Those students produce those entirely on their own and share them with us here at Do the Math. In studio, Cole, how are you?
Good.
You all ready?
Yeah.
Do some more math?
Yeah.
What did you think of that art thing over there?
It was fun.
It was fun? How did the chalk felt a little different, didn't it?
Yeah, it felt really soft.
You still have some on your fingers there?
Yeah.
It stays, right?
Yeah.
If you were going to go out to
Feels like
Via Arte and you had the opportunity to draw something, do you have any idea what you might draw?
No.
You know what I think would be really cool? Because you have read the Harry Potter books and you've seen the movies, correct?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've got something in your mind where you could maybe think of a scene and maybe try to draw something like that. What do you think?
Yeah.
I bet you do something like that, you can get a nice prize for something like that.
Yeah, I
do you
don't
think?
think I'm the best at drawing though. I'm not the best. But
Well, hey, I'm not the best either. I'm not
Yeah,
bad either,
horrible.
but you know what? Doesn't hurt to go out and try, does it?
yeah.
All right, there you go. Well, you know what? We're going to try some more division with you right now. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, head on over there. So we have another one. This one is right from your book also, part of your homework. So we have 124 divided by 1, 124 divided by 10, divided by 100, and divided by 1,000. The same kind of pattern, but a different number. It's got
Yeah.
3 digits instead of only 2 now. All right? So take it away, boys.
Now, even though there are more digits in that original value, I feel like the same pattern is going to hold, right?
Yeah.
Because we're still dividing by 1 and 10
Yeah.
and 100 and 1,000. So let's start off and see, without the work of the division, if we can figure this out quickly. So let's start off with 124 divided by 1.
Well,
What would that be? Without doing any division, just based off of what we understand about dividing by 1, what do you know it is?
I think it would be 124.
124. Let's go ahead and put that up there. I agree wholeheartedly. We're dividing by 1. You're going to end up right back where you started. Great, 124. Next up, we're dividing 124 divided by 10. Now, if you remember the pattern from last time,
Yeah.
what would this be then?
It would be like 124, but with a 0 at the end, and then put a decimal right here.
Well, let's think about where the decimal was. If you just look at 124, the decimal would be right here, right?
Yeah.
So think of it like that almost.
Oh.
When we divide by 1 more in the tens place here,
It would be like this.
great, love to see it. So we're really looking at 12 and 4/10, okay? Great. Now let's go ahead and do 124 divided by 100. What does that have to be?
Well, that would be like 1.24.
Phenomenal. We're looking through this so much faster now, using those patterns to get us where we need to go. So then we go to 124 divided by 1,000. I'm going to let you take the stage.
It would go like this.
Oh, that's phenomenal. So we're looking at 124 thousandths. So when we see this pattern here, starting off with dividing by 1, as we continue to divide by larger powers of 10, we can move that decimal point and we see the value shifting over 1 place value at a time. Wonderful job connecting that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, well done. So you now see that pattern. And because you've worked on a couple of problems like that and you're seeing that, you've done some great work. And for that great work, we're going to award you with a meal courtesy of our friends at Grillenberger. So congratulations on that. There you go. Hey, nothing wrong with having some free food. Let me tell you right now, brother, I'd be digging that all the time myself. Old fat boy right here, I'll take that food.
Don't be so hard on yourself, Mike.
You go down
Be
to
careful.
you go down to Grillenbergers. You ask for Lydia. Okay, if you remember that, you ask for Lydia.
Okay.
She's the one that donates all of these meals to you guys. She loves Do the Math. So when you go in, see if she's there and tell her about when you were on the show. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, have you ever done Math Week?
No.
Have you even heard of that?
No.
Neither have I. But we're all going to hear about it right now because the Kern County Superintendent of Schools is putting on a Math Week together with SoCal Gas and the Mind Research Institute. So here's Math Week. It is coming up this week, well, next week, the 17th through the 21st. I will increase that size a little bit for you right there. So there are 5 nights. So sometimes you go to a school and they'll have a math night where kids and their families can go to the school, and usually in the multi-purpose room or the gymnasium or something like that, and they'll have a bunch of activities based around math and science typically. But not all the families are able to go out and do that a lot of times, and it's only on one night. So what they're doing now is they're putting together a math week. So every single night there are going to be different math games and things that you can partake in, sponsored by the Kern County Superintendent of Schools. Does that sound like a pretty good
Yeah.
idea? So we can see here, it's completely free. So you've got up to 20 math nights worth of stuff in 5 days. So you can do 20 different activities in 5 days. You think you would do that many?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'd be like, oh, 20 in 5 days, quite a bit. Might be doing all
It
that.
is
but
quite a bit.
That way you have options. You can take a look at different things that you might want to do.
Yeah.
And as it says right here, everything is completely free on the website. And what we'll do is we will scroll down a little bit to see what Math Week is all about. There's a website down there. You can I'll leave it up on the screen for just a moment so you can take a photo of it, write it down. But more importantly, tomorrow we will have somebody from this activity in studio with us to talk about Math Week that is coming up next week. So you're going to tune in for that?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch
There you
it.
go. So, all right, I know we're gonna have somebody watching tomorrow. Check out Math Week next week. All right. You guys ready to do a little more work?
Yeah.
All right. So you were able to find those patterns with Devin. This is also going to be a pattern, but something a little different. So let's take a look at this. Now we have, oh, I didn't want you to do that. I want you to, here we go. This is the beautiful part. Now we're gonna work with exponents and decimals in the number already.
Okay.
What do you think of that, looking at that?
Scary.
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 Ooh, all right, well, you know it is October, it is scary. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Because it's scary, we want you to get a hang of this. You and Deborah are gonna work on it right now.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So we have 49.3, or 49 3/10, divided by 10 to the 0 power. And you are going to be gaining quite a bit of knowledge today with these exponents, learning what this all means. So then we have 49 3/10 divided by 10 to the first, and then divided by 10 squared.
Now, as we look at these three, of course, we have exponents here. And so I want to actually start off this conversation about what you understand about exponents. What do these exponents represent? Or what does a number with an exponent mean to you?
And if you've never seen them before, you can just say, I've never seen them before.
I've never seen them.
All right. So this is another way in which numbers can be expressed in math. So we've talked about addition, we've talked about multiplication, right?
Yeah.
So we understand that multiplication sometimes gets identified as repeated addition, right? So like if you have 4 times 3, we think of that as 4 plus 4 plus 4, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, does that mean this 10 times like
Not
1?
necessarily, right? Because we wouldn't need something else to represent that. We could just say 10 times 1.
Or you could add, or is it
Here
adding?
is what an exponent represents. An exponent represents how many times you multiply a number by itself. So if we had, for example, 6 to the 4th power, this would be the same as 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. Okay? Now that's helpful to know. We don't have to worry about figuring this part out, okay? What I want to do is come over here to 10 to the 2nd power. So if 6 to the 4th is 6 times 6 times 6 times 6, how would we represent 10 to the second
It
power?
would be like this, 10 times 10.
10
right?
times 10. Great. Now, that's actually pretty straightforward to calculate, right?
Uh-huh.
What's 10 times 10?
20. Oh,
Let's check that out.
100. 100.
100. Okay.
I think it's
So-
addition.
Let's go ahead and just substitute here. I'm going to rewrite this expression down here. 49.3 divided by 100. Okay? Now, I'm going to come back to this in a moment, all right? Let's come back here and talk a little bit about 10 to the first power. What do you think 10 to the first power would be equal to? How would we write that out?
Like 10.
Now,
Just
remember, 10 to the second power had 10 times 10
Yeah.
because it had two tens.
So it'd be 10. Just
It'd
10.
be just 10, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, 49.3 divided by 10. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky.
Yeah.
10 to the 0th power. And what we're going to explore is something, I used to teach 6th grade, and even 6th graders still struggle a little bit with this. But we do have a special power. We do have a bonus power that we're going to use for this.
Okay.
We have the power of patterns. All right? Look at the pattern that's happening every time we reduce this power of 10, right? We started off with 100.
Yeah.
Then we
10,
got
10.
to 10. So what do you think 10 to the 0th power would be?
Just 0.
Well, it wouldn't be 0 because each time we seem to be dividing by
One?
10. 1. Absolutely. 10 to the 0th power is 1. So here we have 49.3 divided by 1. All right. Now, we've got through the exponents part, and where we ended up looks very familiar, doesn't it? So, we're dividing by 1, we're dividing by 10, we're dividing by 100. We've been doing this the whole show.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to do this just as quickly. So let's start off. Which one of these do you want to start off with?
Right here.
Let's go ahead. 49.3 divided by 1.
49.
49 and 3/10. Go ahead, put that there.
49.
Great. Now, we're dividing by 10. And when we divide by another power of 10 here, where does that decimal point go?
It goes up.
So how would you write that over here then?
It would go 49.
4 and 93 hundredths. Phenomenal. Okay, let's wrap it up here. 49.3.
And then it would
49
be-
3/10 divided by 100.
Like that.
493 thousandths. So we had to kind of go from here all the way down there to come all the way back here. But wonderful progression using the patterns, using the connections between powers of 10 here.
Yep.
I like how you guys are working on the patterns, and it seems as after doing a few of these, you feel a little more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Erase the board. I've got a bonus problem for you.
One more. Here we go.
Oh, no, I didn't say one more. I just said bonus problem right now.
Maybe that one is a bonus. I got to
Okay.
get my definition.
So now,
again.
Cole, I want you to explain to Devin how to do this. Okay, I'll let Devin write the problems up on the board. So we have 51.8 divided by 1. Then 51.8 divided by 10. And then divided by 100.
I am teacher now.
It's all you. Yeah, I get to just sit and
So
listen.
you explain to Devin how you think you should do this. And if you get stuck, Devin will be right there to help you out.
Okay.
Sound good?
So 51.8 divided by 1 would be 51.8, right? Then 51.8, you would move the decimal like this. And then you would keep moving the decimal, and then it would be like that.
So every time we divide by another power of 10, the decimal place moves to the left one
Yeah.
further.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Do you understand that, Devin?
It makes wonderful sense to me. Yeah, the way he's describing the shift of the decimal place is in alignment. That's exactly how we would
He's cutting someone
reason
in
through
line.
there. Yeah. Oh, cutting in line. I don't know. Where I come from, we don't take kindly to people who cut in line.
Yeah.
But in this case, I think we have a fair way of approaching this. I don't see this as cutting in line. I see this as a repositioning of value based off of the different
Hey, I'm not
dividends here.
supposed to. You're not supposed to be there, are you?
Oh man, don't bring me back, right?
All right,
Everything
you
we
ready?
want.
All right, so here's what I'd like you to do. Cole, erase the answers that you wrote in black.
Okay.
You know how to erase those quickly?
Circle tap.
There you
There
go,
we
you
go.
got it.
Man, Cole picks things up quick.
Well, I'm glad that he's got that division down. And you said that that's what you're working on in class, correct?
Yes.
So hopefully when you get to this in class, probably this week sometime, you're going to have a little head start on that,
Yeah.
right? So maybe you can help out Mr. DeMarco, your instructor, help some other students. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Devin, be so kind and erase the division symbol in all of those and replace them with a multiplication symbol.
You knew this was coming.
Did I though?
No, I don't know if you did.
See,
But
this
it's
is
here.
like your bonus right here. This is. So now you're still working with that decimal point, but think about which way you're going to be moving it now. So you and Devin can work together on this.
Well, since division and multiplication are the opposite, I would think to move it to the right.
Very interesting. So let's start off in a similar spot, okay? Look at these three expressions. Where would you like to start with based off of
This one
simplicity?
right
Okay,
here.
51 and 8/10 times 1. What would that be?
51 and 8/10.
Great. Now, according to your reasoning, when we were dividing by increasing powers of 10, we were moving the decimal to the left.
Yeah.
If that's the case, when we multiply by increasing powers of 10, how might that decimal point shift and pivot?
I think it would move to the right.
Okay, so in this case, 51 and 8/10 times 10 would equal what?
51 and like that.
So how would we express this value?
518.
518. So then how would we do 51 and 8/10 times 100?
5,180. Like that.
Excellent. Now, you can keep that 0.0 in at the end, helpful with clarity, especially with the visual of moving. Do we necessarily need to have that there when we
No.
express the value? So just as a point of clarity, you don't have to erase it now, but yeah, it's equivalent. And as we did with division, the shift of the operation and then the increase in the powers of 10 tell us where the value expands and grows. And so we can definitely see that happening with the relationship between place value, the operation, and the power of 10 we're multiplying or dividing by.
Yeah.
You guys have done some excellent work so far today. So clear the board.
All the way through. One more.
Cole, do you like pancakes?
Yes.
What kind of pancakes do you like? Do you like plain pancakes or with toppings or stuff mixed in them?
With just syrup.
Just syrup, so plain buttermilk pancake with
Yeah.
syrup. I enjoy those myself. I
correct.
guess our boys in the back like that also. They got the bell. Have you ever had blueberry pancakes?
No, I don't think so.
You ought to try those sometime. Let me tell you, those blueberry pancakes is fine right there. Easy with the buzzer
Don't get
on
the
that. I
judge
don't know why somebody got
taste
against the
back
blueberries right
there.
there. All right. Anyway, we have another problem for you right now. This is a word problem that's going to go along with what you've been doing so far.
Okay.
So let's take a look at it together. The same cafe uses 18.5 or 18 and a half cups of flour to make 100 servings of pancakes. How many cups of flour are in one serving of pancakes? So work it out. What do you think you need to write down as far as information? You and Devin can work on this together.
So this is an interesting relationship, right? We know that it takes 18.5 cups of flour to make 100 servings of pancakes. And what they're asking us is how many cups are in one serving. So
It would be.
how would we write this out as a problem?
We would divide it.
Yeah, this is a division problem. Good connection there. So how would we write this out?
18.5 divided by 100.
18.5 divided by 100. Okay. Now, without anything else here, based on what we've talked about today, how would you approach 18 and 5/10 divided by 100?
I would think to move the decimal point not once but twice.
Now, that's really interesting. What tells you to move it twice?
Because when we did 1, it would just stay the same, and then 10 would move it. We would move it twice, and then 100 would go. We would move it this one once and this one twice.
So you're making a connection between the power of 10, or the number of zeros in this power of 10, with the number of spaces and decimal places you would move to the left when dividing.
Yeah,
So where does that decimal point end up in this scenario?
right here, and then it would be a 0.185.
So 0.185, which can be expressed as, if we put that, 185 over what power of 10? How would we say this in place values? We have tenths, then hundredths,
Thousandths.
thousandths. So 185 thousandths of a cup. Do you have any measuring cups that measure thousandths of a cup?
I don't think so.
No, you shouldn't, because that's not a real thing.
Okay.
But that's okay. But as far as accuracy and precision, that is the correct answer. So what does this number represent?
185 cups.
For what?
Flour for pancakes.
For one pancake. 185 thousandths of a cup of flour for one pancake.
I wonder what size the pancake is.
Very
now.
precise, right? Like, I don't know, you need to, how would you measure that out?
I was going to say, I use a half a cup just for the couple of pancakes I make.
Right.
And
I feel
that's
like
for
you'd have to
one
round
person.
this off. You'd have to be like, okay, it's close to a fifth. Let's just go with a fifth. But how do we have a fifth? Are you talking about one of those big like pan pancakes? The one that takes up the whole thing?
now,
Going
fat
thick,
boy, I ain't
right?
taking just one pancake. I make 3 nice sized blueberry pancakes. And they're fine flapjacks right there, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
You ever heard them called flapjacks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I like that. You like those?
Yeah.
Who doesn't, right? All right. Butter and syrup on that? Come on over here, Cole. So how do you think your workout went today? Because you did a lot of work in the head today, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it.
Your
went good.
brain grew quite a bit because every time you learn something that's a little bit challenging, synapses fire and your brain grows and develops.
Yeah.
And I think in the last hour, your brain has developed and grown quite a bit in that last hour.
Yeah.
Did you learn a little something today?
Yeah.
Did you have fun today?
Yeah.
Do you know what an ambassador is?
No.
Okay, an ambassador is somebody that will tell somebody about whatever they want to, let's say. So if you're an ambassador for Do the Math, I need you to tell other people about Do the Math. Can you do that? So you just tell them, hey, if you need any help, you give us a call, we'll help you out with your math work, right?
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
You can do that?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a uniform to do that in.
Okay.
All right? This, we're going to turn right over here. That way the camera can get you right there. So that is your uniform. So when you wear this shirt, people are going to go, hey, what's going on with that? And you can tell them about Do the Math. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So you don't have to wear it every single day.
Yeah.
Okay, but you wear it a lot of times, and then other people will be going to go, hey, what's going on with that? Do the math, and you tell them all about it.
Yeah.
You think you're going to check out Via Arte?
What?
The chalk on the
Oh, yeah,
sidewalk
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
right? So here, once again, we have a quick photo of that. One of the past works that's coming up on October 22nd and 23rd. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30, and until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.